10 free throws. Yeah. Shot 40.
Are you a tired team right now? There's probably a few things we can talk about, but just to get straight to it, it looks like there's some guys that need a rest. How much can you say about getting some help still in the backcourt, or wherever you might need it? And do you agree that some of the guys are a bit tired?
Oh, certainly. Anytime you play two games in the space of 48 hours, it's always going to be physically demanding. But they were faced with a similar situation. It's something that over the last month or so has been consistent with us because of our schedule where we're at, but I don't think that would be fair to offer that as any sort of excuse for our performance. I think that our intensity is not where it needs to be. Our concentration on certain stages of the game, it's like, to me, I get a strong sense that whenever if we get 4 or 6 points up, it's like, oh, well, now we can take a bit of a breather. We've got our little bit of a margin here, we'll just ease it through. And clearly tonight, it cost us dearly. There were times in that game where we had some advantages where we couldn't convert offensively, and at no stage, despite trying a variety of different things, at no stage were we able to contain them defensively. So it got to a point where we had to outshoot them. And trying to outshoot that team, where they thrive on that game, they put big points on the board. Any time that we have to score over 100, we're going to lose more than we win. And I thought our defence sometimes strategically was okay, but ultimately we had no way of containing any sort of penetration. And to equate that to your question and say, well, is that energy? Perhaps a little bit, but not to the extent that we saw here this afternoon.
Is it a case of intensity? I mean, obviously you don't want teams to shoot 57% from the field against you. Is it a mindset thing as much as anything else, rather than to break down structures?
I think it was a combination of things. Primarily, I think that our ability to contain the ball and play defense. We come up with these strategies about what we're going to do on a 45 and the middle pick and roll, and what we're going to do when the ball goes inside, and all the action. But if you have a mindset to go in and say, well, I can just guard this guy and strategically force him one way and my job is done, then at this level, it's not going to be good enough. You still have to have that individual competitive desire to be able to stop your man. Of course, you need to rely on help and have rules about what happens on an on-ball and what happens away from the ball screen, and strategically figure out how you're going to go about it. We played a lot of zone in the first half, and without being super effective in general. I think it helped in trying to contain Randall because you've got automatic help. But to his credit, he just made everyone else better. Dishing off, finding the open man, and we're just standing around there like without the recognition of our man-to-man responsibilities in the zone, and they were getting too many easy baskets. So no matter what we tried, so we had a look at a variety of different things. At no stage, like I said earlier, did I feel like our defence was anywhere near where it needs to be competitive, A, against this team, and B, against any team in the NBL.
Jason, how frustrating is it for you individually? Because offensively, obviously, you've got your stroke game today and everything seemed to be going fine, but how frustrating is it when things aren't going well defensively? I'm not talking about you individually, but the team collectively.
It's frustrating through the roof. I mean, look, we need to be better on that end of the floor, and they're not an easy team to contain because they just get out and run. That's how they play, and it's a different style to what a lot of other teams play. But I thought we hurt ourselves the other night. We threw one away, and I feel like there was a bit of carryover from that. We were a very disappointed and annoyed team after that, and I think it carried over way more than it should have, and we've just let another one slip. But look, obviously frustrations are high, but if we have to stay together. If we don't do that, then we're in trouble. But we've got a good group of guys and good coaching staff, and we rebound from this and hopefully get ourselves back on track.
Jury, as presently constituted, are you confident that this team can get to where you want it to go? Because I mean, most people would say the team's very, very thin at scope for change in that area, or are you confident just to take that forward the rest of the way?
At this point in time, we have to deal with what we've got. If circumstances change, then we'll look at it. But at this point in time, it's my understanding is we go with what we've got and we try and make the most of it. Clearly, we'd love to have a number of players available, but that's not to be, and we've got to just work on, at this point in time, work on getting better results out of the individuals that we do have. And I thought the other night, Craig Myler came in and gave us some real good minutes. Tonight I lost, there was a couple of errors that he made, and not just with the foul, but you could see that he was getting a little lost on defence. And unfortunately for those guys that are coming in that don't see much time, that you kind of, they can't make those mistakes that sometimes that other guys will make because they don't have the same runs on the board. So I've got to perhaps maybe look at trying to get them more involved, because they can play at this level, no doubt, and they deserve more opportunity than what they're currently getting. But in very, very close contests, when there's zero margin for error, I've been, maybe to the fault of the team, very, very conservative with playing 7 guys, 8 guys. Unfortunately, Tommy was crook. He's got a bug, and he couldn't give us much tonight because of he had a stomach virus and was throwing up. So he tried his hardest, but didn't have much fuel in the tank. And he's been another guy that's played some minutes. Unfortunately, he was down a little bit on energy levels, and that affects you. And when the types of requirements we needed on the defensive end, you need to be really healthy, physically in shape, and pushing through it. So it's bitterly disappointing, because we played the good part of the first half of the season to a point where we gave ourselves a little bit of an advantage. We've handed all it back now. We're now in the middle of the pack. So we've handed all that back, and as I said to the guys after the game, that doesn't discourage me on what this team is capable of achieving. Virtually every team's gone through a bit of a tough patch throughout the course of a season. It's our turn right now. It's not pleasant. It's something that weighs heavy on me, because we have high expectations. But clearly we're learning more about the players and what they're capable of doing, and we got to try and make sure that we continue to work with them and keep them as positive as we can, and give ourselves a chance to rebound from this. But fortunately, we've only got one game a week for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So it will give us plenty of time to prepare for teams individually, and it's not going to be any easier. We've lost 3 in a row at home now, and home court when there's no margin for error is very, very important.
You played Adelaide 3 times during their 7-game winning streak. What is it that Joe and his troops have done over the last 4 to 5 weeks that have really turned their season around and made it so difficult there?
Well, I think that individually he's got them playing extremely well. They're shooting the ball incredibly well, and the pace at which they play at is tough to guard. It puts a lot of pressure on the opponent defensively for the pace in which they're going at it. And I think that when you look at Randall and what he's capable of doing, both off his own scoring abilities, but the way he can distribute the ball as well, I think that they've got 2 of the most improved players in the competition, in certainly from Nathan Sobey, who tonight in that second half was unstoppable. He's just getting to the rim at ease. With him, and also with Matthew Hodgson, I think those 2 are right up there as most improved players in the competition. Combine that with some very good understanding of roles, very selfless team. They know who the man is. They know the man's going to look after him, and he runs the show, and he does it as good as anyone in the competition. So it's, 6 or 7 games now that they've won in a row, and 3 of them against us, and we haven't found the solution. We haven't found the solution to that. I've got great respect for the way they're playing. I think that I'm envious of the way they are playing, and we got to look at them and see if we can't emulate some of the things that they're doing, because Joey's got them playing as good as anyone right now.
Thanks, guys.
All right. No worries. It's a pleasure.